Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Jane Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 64. Yeah, Brady, good evening. First up, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. Gotta love these short weeks, long weekends.
Yeah, right. It's been 3 short weeks in a row. And we're just over halfway through. Good way halfway through over the middle one, which is lovely. Another long weekend this weekend. I'm a bit sad, I'll be honest. I've not been able to play too much disc golf recently for reasons, but you've been out quite a bit though.
Yeah, the weather was great, and not working in hospitality for the first long weekend in ever. I made it out to a couple courses, played a couple rounds, set some goals for myself. Like yourself, I'm a bit disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've been playing lots of disc golf, and I'm getting ready for Tomarunui at the end of the month, but I came just short of my ultimate goal for the weekend. But we may or may not figure that out here in a second.
I think I know what that is. Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward. I think this weekend is going to happen. This weekend will be the inaugural, or the setting rather, of the Berhampore Ultra Star record round, I should say. Berhampore Ultra Star record round, the Burr, as me and a few others. You're joining us, aren't you, Brett? And I think Jack as well are going to go for a whip around Berhampore with Ultra Stars and see if we get blown away. So that's going to be good fun. Right, so on to tonight's show. We've got hot scores coming up shortly. Then we're going to be talking to our guest tonight. Our guest tonight is Nicola Stout. She's won loads of tournaments recently. Very, very strong. Ladies Masters player, and so we'll be speaking with her shortly. Then we're going to be doing Desert Island Disc Golf, and then we're going to be having a look back at the Brook Park Brave, which happened last weekend. And there's a couple of other things we want to talk about, a couple of new events which have dropped this last week. Quick note on the Champions Cup. I don't know if you saw it. That was brilliant fun. And also we've got our picks for Taupo this weekend, which is exactly where I am this evening. You can see, I think this is the basket of hole 14, I think. So thank you for supplying photo there. And so, yeah, right. Lovely. We're going to go through hot scores. Brady, take us through the South.
Going through the South Island, let's start as ever in our guest's hometown, Invercargill at Queen's Park. Russell King, the Queenstowner, old but not out, comes in at -16 for the hot round this week. Good shooting, Russell. Over in Dunedin, Chingford Park, we have Chris McLean, takes it out with 2 rounds of -7. Good shooting, Chris. Out in Brockville, Jack Maffey coming in at -8 to take out the hot round. Up in Queenstown itself, Wellington's own Keith Thurlow coming in at -9 this week with the hot round down south. And at Tucker's Beach, Akira Kuro coming in at -3 for the hot round. Over the Crown Range at Ely Point, we have Ollie Webb and Jason Ormandy coming in at -2 for the hot round this week. And at Lismore, Luke Godfrey shoots 11 under par for the hot round. Up in the Garden City, we have Greg Brosnan coming in at -14 at Jelly. Good shooting there. Out at Brooker Ave, Greg Brosnan, Liam Patterson, and Mana P coming in at -7. And for the second hat trick, second time in Christchurch as well, Queen's Park, Gregor Brosnan and Bring Hill coming in at -7 for the hot round. So well done, Gregor Brosnan joins Jeremy Brockenshire as the only 2 people to have the hat trick for their city. Up in Nelson to finish off the South Island, let's go out to Brantford Park and Anthony Andrews once again taking out the hot round with a -7 this week. Matt, take us through the North.
So starting off at Berhampore in the hills, and Brady took it out this week with a 7 under par. Very well done. At Hikoikoi, it was Ben, no surname, who came in at 4 under par. So well done to Ben. Up in Harcourt Park in Upper Hutt, Joel Simpson and Brady tied for the lead with a 6 under par. Very good shooting at Harcourt Park. Joel Simpson's at it again at Linklater, shooting 7 under. Across to Flaxmere, and it's Albert Walker who hits an even round in Hastings. And at Spa Park Blue in preparation for Taupo this weekend, Ashton Clark hits 6 under par. Over to Maryland's, and it's Sam Den Hartog who hits 3 under par. So well done to Sam. And up at McLaren's, Steve Hawk Brown also hits 3 under par. Up to Henderson in Auckland, and it's a tie between Chris Townsley and Richard Waterston, who hit 8 under par on the League 18 there. So very well done to all of those. There's the Invercargill Sunday sessions, and the winner this week was Ethan Stout, who took out a 973 rated 9 under par. So well done to Ethan. Right. Our guest this evening is another Stout, and this week, or last week rather, she took away the ladies, the best placed lady at the Brook Park Brave. Won a heap of other tournaments this year so far. Season's going very well. Good evening, Nicola Stout.
Hello.
Right, I'm just going to put there we go. Lovely stuff. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was meant to be a bit of a whistle stop tour of the North Island, ending in Taupo, I believe, and then yeah, back down in preparation for Lismore. But has that gone according to plan?
No.
Oh dear.
No. Yeah, that was a plan. Play some disc golf on the way home, but no. Unfortunately, COVID has hit, and we're stuck in Auckland for now.
Well,
and hopefully we can get home next week.
Very, very best of luck with both of those. I'm sure that that you'll stay safe and get home safely. But taking a look back to the Brook Park Brave, it was your first time at Te Kuiti?
Yes, so I had 3 practice throws off the first tee, and that's all I'd seen of the course before we started. Yeah.
Oh, lovely stuff! Excellent. That's the practice of champions right there. So, what did you think of the course and and how did you get on? Shot pretty well.
Yeah, I was quite happy with how it went. I think sometimes I'm better if I'm blind, because sometimes you can, what I find is I might have a practice round and I'll go, oh yeah, I can do that. And then on the day, it doesn't quite work out like that. And so when it's a practice round, there's absolutely no pressure to throw how you have thrown in your practice round. You just got to throw. So the course is up and down, isn't it? Up a few hills, down a few hills. Lots of challenging holes. I really like the course. Yeah. I don't think you can really throw the same tee shot off any tee. It's all different. You've got to think about the angle of your disc, where you're going to go, what you're going to throw. I don't know, and where you can get into trouble and how to try and stay out of it. But I liked that there was alternate tees on a couple of specific holes for the ladies. So the ladies had BTs, which was nice. Yeah.
And you had a particularly good final round, coming in 860 rated. For the final round to take it out.
Yeah, I kind of had a couple of goals after the first round, and one of them, because I bogeyed hole 1 the first 2 rounds, and I thought, this is really a hole that I can par. Like, I shouldn't bogey this, and I birdied it. And so I think from there, that set my mindset maybe, and I was just quite relaxed and happy with how I was going. And so I think I played okay. Yeah, quite happy with how I did.
And are you, because I was trying to watch scores going to the weekend, because, like I had picked you and know that you've been playing well. When you're out on the course, are you playing with the other women? Are you watching their scores? Like, does that come into your game plan at all?
Not at all. Nah. I don't mind scoring, like, because on PDGA you can't see what the score is, but I actually just like to go and enjoy myself and play. I mean, I just love it that can play with other ladies, to be fair, and I just enjoy it. And if I win, that's nice, but I kind of have my own ideas about what I want to do, and it doesn't really compare to other people, if that makes sense. So I just know if there's a hole that I know I can get a shot on, that's what I want to try and do, rather than focus on what everyone else is doing. So no, I don't really look at scores, and sometimes I don't want to know what they are. Not that I'm watching them, but I just don't look. Because if I look, then I'll look at the boys, and then I won't enjoy my game.
So when you said it was it was the boys that got you in trouble, right? It's because you're COVID free. Is it one of the other gentlemen you've been traveling with that got it?
That's the youngest, of course. Yeah. Can't take them anywhere.
The way.
So just coming to Levi and Ethan, I understand it was you that got them into disc golf. Is that right?
Yeah. I went for a round with friends in Tianao, and I thought, oh, this will be fun. So I went and bought 5 throwing frisbees, which were quite expensive, I must say, and dragged them down because we're fortunate enough to have a holiday home in Manapori, so it's just down the road. And we went for a round, and I think they grabbed them. And maybe a couple of months later, there was a course starting to go in down in Invercargill. But when I was playing that first round, my friend said to me, oh, my brother-in-law is really getting into this. He's got like 3 discs. And I said, oh, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's fun, but what? But it was really, for me, it was because they were getting into it, and I like being outside. It was a good thing to do, really, as a family. So at the time, Ethan was probably still at school. He was year 12, 13 still. And it was just a good opportunity to go and hang out with him. Like, hanging out with your teenage kids, probably not such a great thing, but it was a good mode to spend time together without any pressure or anything, I thought. Yeah. And then we went on a wee roadie and we started getting into it. It was silly. Yeah.
And now you've gone to free discs too. I know I'm on some Facebook groups where I've seen some trades go through, and so I won't tell you about those. Excellent. So what's your kind of do you have any kind of goals in disc golf, or is it I'm just here to have some fun in the moment and that's kind of it, or have you got anything that's you're kind of aiming for right now?
I wouldn't have said a month ago that our plan kind of is to try and get Levi to Junior Worlds in a couple of years while he's still under 18. And in my head, I thought that maybe I could go to Masters Worlds at the same time, because I think in the past they've been at the same place. But I think Levi tells me it's not possible at the moment, that they're on different courses at different times now. So we'll see. If it works out, I would do something like that, maybe just to see how it went. Play with a whole tournament of women would be pretty amazing, I think. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. We'll see. No, other than that, I'm just enjoying. I love all the courses that we get to play throughout the country. Just getting out and doing it. It's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does it? Go ahead.
You carry
on. Well, yeah, like you're kind of in a unique position, like Matt and I, like are trying to grow the women's scene, and we, Matt hosts Women's League. We have a women's global event here in the, like in Wellington. How is Invercargill when it comes to like the women's scene, the Masters scene, like is the South Island or North Island better when it comes to that kind of community?
I think we're slowly building up. So Zara is another player from down there. You might have heard of Zara. She's played a few tournaments. She had a knee injury for a couple of years and was out, but she's back with a vengeance, which is great. And so we've just started quite an informal ladies. We were trying to do a Wednesday or Thursday night, and then we'll go to a weekend now. Daylight savings is finished. And there's a few players around that we're trying to get in. We've got a little, she's 11, Alison, who's played, and she comes with us. She's amazing. She's the one to watch in the country, not anyone else, not any Stout, but Alison is the one to watch. She's got a great forehand, backhand, and she's all good. But so Zara and I are just trying to start growing the women down there if we can. But it's finding them and getting them to come and play is probably the issue a little bit. I think Zara knows more people than I do, really. What I would like to do this year is go, because I haven't been to the Women's Global event, is try and get to either Christchurch, if they're having one, or Wellington, and just be a part of the Women's Global event this year. And then Zara and I would think about trying to host one in Invercargill next year, potentially, if we can. That would be great. Hopefully by then we'd grown enough women that would be keen to come and have a go in an environment that's not too threatening, because sometimes it can be a bit threatening when you've got other people that can throw a long way and you're just starting out. Yeah.
I mean, the Women's Global event, I was fortunate enough to caddy last year and watch, and it was great. It was so much fun, and loads of players who hadn't really played before. So I'd say if there's an event that gets a lot of ladies involved in the region, then that's the one. Yeah, I mean, if there's one in Christchurch, obviously proximity wise, that makes more sense to you. But we'd love to see you in Wellington as well. If
we'll see what happens.
Good stuff. Yeah. So you've got Lismore as your next tournament, then, all being well.
Correct. Yeah, all going well. If I can avoid the Levi, and if I can get home.
Best of luck with that. So for 32 holes round a hilly park in Lismore.
Yeah, but there's not so many trees on a lot of Lismore. So I actually really like the up and down of Lismore. That was the first course that I played a tournament at. I played the rec division for my first time. So we'd done a wee road tour and we went to Lismore and we threw it. And I said, okay, yeah, I think I can do that. And it was a beautiful, stunning day, absolutely gorgeous, no wind. And then I entered the rec division, which was a one-day event, and the wind was horrendous. Oh. And I had no clue about how to throw in the wind. It was a disaster. But, I really like the hills. Like we don't play on them much, and I think that's probably why, because they're a lot of fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, I think, I don't know what's next on the calendar. Well, what is it? I don't know. Tucker's maybe for us?
Yeah, Tucker's what, July? Is Tucker's on the calendar yet?
I don't know, but usually it's in July, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tucker's I don't think has been announced yet as being out, but Timaru, not sure if you'd go that far.
We did last year and it was good, but we're unfortunately celebrating a family 50th birthday in Rarotonga that week, so we won't make it.
Okay. You do get to go to Rarotonga. Hey, so
I know.
That's very good.
No.
And then obviously there's the Macbeth Foundation fundraiser, which we'll get to a little bit more of a little bit later on. That's there's one in Invercargill there. So good stuff. Excellent. And so I'm really interested to hear about, like, when you go to a tournament, how easy is it to kind of play your own game compared to knowing that you've got Levi and Ethan also playing, that you've obviously got an interest in how well they're going. How can you kind of shut yourself off and kind of go, right, I'm gonna for now ignore what they're doing and focus on my game?
Well, actually my first round was playing with Levi at Tikawiti, so that was interesting. He wasn't a very good caddy for me. I kept saying, what should I throw? And he goes, decide yourself, Mum. But how do I don't know, because I have no control over how they're going to play. All that I try and do is get them there on time when they want to be there, and they manage themselves. I can't control what they're doing. So I think I'm more relaxed if I'm focusing on playing my own game than thinking about what they're doing. If I wasn't playing, then I'd be sitting there looking at the scores going, oh no. And as some of you may have seen me at Nationals, I couldn't watch in the end anyway. I had to leave following the cards around. So that's when I had time on my hands to watch. So actually it's better when we're all playing at the same time, then we can just catch up at the break or whatever, rather than getting too worried about what they're doing. I mean, they play their own game. I can't affect them. They would say that. They'd say, leave me alone, don't watch.
Was it hard going back and watching Nationals coverage and like seeing Levi in the last round? Like, how was that for you?
I think I'd seen most of well, actually, no, it was hard because he was a bit unfortunate a couple of times. And he was so disappointed, obviously, afterwards. Not taking anything away from Jay. He played a great game. But, he was a bit disappointed. It was quite hard to watch. But it was also good to see how well he had played as well. Like, taking away the disappointment, he played extremely well. So he can only take that away from it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I
mean... Is
there
any... Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to just say, to be playing the standard that he's playing at the age he is, is different to what other people in New Zealand are doing as well. Certainly.
Yeah, that's right. He's doing good.
Do you have any advice for other parents out there whose kids are playing or whose kids might want to start competing? If you could give advice to those parents of like, I wish I'd known this before I started being, Mama Stout.
To be honest, I started just watching them at the tournaments, and I think it was at Tucker's. I'd watched, actually, the first woman that I'd watched throw was Sue Brown and Lorraine Botha when they had a playoff at the Smash, and I was just in awe of how far they could throw, and I thought, wow, they're awesome. And then I watched Tucker's. I took Levi to Tucker's and watched him, and at that point in time there was space on the cards, like it wasn't sold out, and I was sitting there going, well, actually I think I'd rather be out there throwing than sitting around watching him, because he was probably only 12 then, but I thought actually he's quite safe. Like, I'm a parent, I want him to be safe in this environment. And so I entered after that. I would say I think it's been good for the boys not to have us following them around all the time, because they make their own decisions then. They know what they're on about. We don't. They're more relaxed, I think, when we're not there. I think that says something about me, maybe. I don't know. But I think it's actually an individual sport, and nothing I can do as a parent other than, make sure they're well fed and whatever. They've got to learn this game themselves, and I think that's probably the hardest thing, is dealing with the mental game that it is for them. Yeah. As a parent, I think the biggest thing as a parent of a junior, and maybe this is just me, is that we never would have allowed Levi to go to a tournament quite young without us, because I don't know, there often is more alcohol around than perhaps he's been exposed to as a junior before. Do you know what I mean? And that was just something that, because he was 12, 13 at the time, even now 14, 15, he's still young. And I guess that's one thing that, like, that's fine. But I think that was something we had to kind of work through and talk through and figure out.
Yeah, I mean, it's important that that you don't want to go into an environment or put someone in an environment where they might feel uncomfortable, or it might have a detrimental impact on them in the sort of in the longer term. So no, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, now he's fine. He's fine, but just when he was younger, when you're not sure and you don't know these people and all that sort of stuff, it's just something as a parent that
totally.
It was just to think about. Yeah,
totally.
No.
Right. Excellent. We're going to move on to Desert Island Disc Golf, get to know a little bit more about what you throw and who you'd like to throw with. So we've the premise of this part of the show, if you've not seen it before, is that Nicola is stranded on a desert island. This desert island has a disc golf course. And she has been stranded with 3 of her favorite discs and 3 of her favorite card mates. Her card mates can be alive or dead, real or fantasy, seasoned pros, or people she knows. So, Nicola, what are your 3 discs? What have you taken to the desert island?
So my first one, I don't know if you can see that very well. It is a Platinum Tui.
Lovely. So that's your putter?
No, I don't putt with Tui.
Oh, okay.
If I was going to a desert island and I could only take 3 discs, I would take my Tui, because I can throw it off the tee. I use it a lot for upshots. It's really my main upshot or layups. It kind of holds its line that I put it on generally. And I can putt with it. I shot a neg 6 at Queen's Park with my 1 Tui. So, it does a good job, and it's pretty.
Absolutely. Tui, it's a favorite in New Zealand.
Yeah, and to be fair, it was the boys gave me a Tui to start with, and they wouldn't let me have any more discs until I mastered throwing this one flat. And their philosophy was that you've got to learn to throw properly before you start changing too many discs. So a lot of my bag, it was when they bought me a disc and said, you can throw this now, Mum. But Tui's were one of my first, and I still use it an awful lot. Yeah.
Excellent. I heard that I actually heard that Ethan's got a 2016 Firebird. So if you ask him nicely, he might let you throw that one.
I'm not I'm interested, to be fair.
What else have you got?
And then sticking with RPM, I'm going for a Piwaka.
Lovely. Do you like the platinum plastic? I mean, it's
I do,
it's
just because it's
right?
pretty.
Like,
I think.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a preference for the plastic types at RPM?
I like platinum the best, to be fair. My putter is a soft magma, and I really like the feel of that in my hand. A Ruru. I actually find my platinum Kotuku a bit too overstable for me, so I've got I think it's an atomic one from the Rapture event, and that is better for me, not as overstable. But now I kind of like them if they're pretty, and then I throw them in hit trees and make them a bit more.
Prettier discs go further. I mean, that's a fairly well.
They do. So I throw this a lot. I can get it turning right quite well for me, or I can keep it straight. I do it on sort of, I think I threw this on 1 to 2 when it was 1 to 2 at the Smash Brady, and get down quite a way and through a tunnel. There's a few shots that I would use it for. I mean, because I don't have a really long throw anyway, it doesn't make terribly much difference what I throw, to be honest, in distance.
Okay.
But I really like my Tui and my Piwaka.
Lovely. And what else have you got?
And then for my meat hook, it's not really, is a Mamba. And I think, are you laughing at me, Brady?
Not many people describe Mamba as a meat hook.
No. So to be fair, this is thanks to Lorraine Botha, because I was playing with her one day and she was throwing one so far and so straight, and I said, I've got to get one of those. What is it? And so I bought a Mamba, and to start off with, it's been quite overstable for me, but as I've beaten it and it's getting straighter and straighter, and I've got another one. I bought another one off Hayden at Nationals, and it's a bit more overstable for me still. But that is probably the thing that I can throw the furthest at the moment.
Look, we laugh, but I think the disc that I've sold more of to ladies than any other disc is a Mamba.
Yeah.
And so absolutely, I think it's I'd recommend that to any lady out there who's looking for a little bit more distance, as you've experienced. So that would be. I have got a Grace that I'm trying to see what I can do with, but for now it's my Mamba. Yeah. I hope you can get the some utility out of the Grace, because I do love that disc. That's fantastic. Excellent. Okay, so who's with you then? Who are your free card mates?
Well, it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? How do you choose? But to be fair, the most fun round of disc golf I had was in Gore, and I would have to take the 2 people that were on my card then, which was Casey Brown and Sue Brown, because we had quite a few laughs and it was a bit of fun, and I think that relaxing on a desert island would be quite nice with them. And I think I'm a bit boring, but to round out that, I'd probably take my daughter Talia as well. And the 4 of us, she might play a bit of disc golf, but she'd probably end up snorkeling a lot more than us. But maybe she would get into it if she was with the 4 of us. I did think about taking a pro, but really we want to be the pros on the island. So it's just the girls and desert island. So we'll have a bit of fun and do plenty of snorkeling is the plan. Yeah.
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. Okay, right. We're going to move into our quick fire round. So I've got the family friendly front 9, 9 questions, same every week to every guest. And then Brady's got the safari back 9, different every week for every guest, and takes the form of this or that. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
What's your name?
Nicola.
What's your PDGA number?
Oh, I think it's 156428.
Where were you born?
Invercargill.
Where do you live now?
Oh, Invercargill.
How many years have you been playing?
Oh, I think it's 3 or 4.
Okay. Your favorite disc?
Tui.
Your favorite course?
Tianao.
Your favorite MPO player?
Macbeth.
Your favorite FPO player?
Kristen Tatar.
Excellent. Brady, take us through the back nine.
Through the back nine, let's start with wine or gin.
Wine.
Day at the beach or day in the bush?
Oh, probably. Day in the bush.
Day in the bush.
If it's my
lake. Stand still or X-step?
Oh, I actually think I throw quite well standstill. My X-step.
Would you rather chain out for ace or throw in for bogey?
I'd rather chain out for ace. I don't very often hit those chains from the tee pad.
Would you rather be the North Island champ or the South Island champ?
I don't know. South Island?
Would you rather be the New Zealand Disc Golf Tour champion or the New Zealand Disc Golf National champion?
National champion, I'm saying.
Okay. Would you rather be the World Women's Master champion or mother to the World Junior champion?
Oh, I think I'd rather be mother.
Would you rather 1,000 rated par or a 900 rated birdie?
Well, either would be fabulous, but I'll go for 1,000.
And would you rather run it or lay up?
Well, doesn't that depend on what's behind the basket, Brady? I'd probably lay up.
Okay. And there you go. There you have it. Hole 18. She lays up. Thank you so much, Nicola.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nicola, for joining us. It's been great to talk to you, get to know you a little bit more. And we hope to see you very soon back out on the course. Lismore is the next one. We'll look forward to seeing you there.
Okay. Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
Yep. Stay safe up north.
Bye-bye. There we go. Right, there we are. Great to talk to someone who's really playing very well in the ladies masters division. Every tournament she gets a mention as being someone who we think is going to score well and does week in, week out.
Well, there's part of me, and I was trying to look it up at the beginning of the show, of she might be in the running for like women's tour champion this year for women's.
Overall,
like, yeah, like overall, like she's won a lot. Like, yeah, she's been winning in the women's masters, but she's taking out like overall titles. She took the overall at nationals, maybe just ahead of Minky. Though Minky like won her division and that kind of stuff. So yeah, like it'd be really interesting to kind of look at those points to see if Nicola is going to kind of like squeak it out here. Like that, I think that would be super cool for her. You know, like, yeah, to kind of take it from the masters division is awesome.
I mean, you're totally right. And when we're looking at the picks and we go down the ladies advanced to try and pick out who we think is going to take it out. And then we've got to remember to always look in the Masters division for the ladies, especially just to see if Nicola's playing, because quite often she is, and certainly a name that to contend with. Took out Brook Park at the weekend, finished a shot ahead of Paula Wilson and Amy Whitmore, who tied in second place amongst the ladies. In the MPO division, we had Conor McKinstry and Trevor Warman, who tied fourth. They also tied with the advanced leader, Josh Love Padata. So well done to Josh. Very good performance there. Third place was Mikey Yu. Second place was Levi Stout, and Simon Feasy took out the win. What was interesting about the result this week, Brady? Can you remember?
Up at Brook Park?
Yeah.
I like the split. So like the idea that to play well on that course, and if you were going to finish top 5, you finished under par. But the idea of not a lot of people were actually finishing under par.
No.
Like, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say Josh was the only person in the advanced division to do it. There was a handful of people outside the top 5 who finished under par as well. It was Simon Feasy's 50th victory. His 50th victory. And we spoke briefly around how it was, how he has the most 1,000-rated rounds. Well, he shot 2 more at the weekend and took out the hot round with a 10-15 rated final round. And so, yeah, I mean, he must be approaching the 150, right? Because I think we were on about 141, and that was a few weeks ago. So he must be approaching the 150. We'll do some research, and I'll get the stats team here to quickly have a look and see if we can track that. What's interesting also is that I picked the top 4 correctly. So yeah, we shall see if I can do the same again when it comes to Taupo. So yeah, right. Couple of other things which have been happening. Champions Cup, the first major of the year. Brady, did you watch it?
I haven't. No, unfortunately, I was playing too much disc golf to be sitting at home watching it.
Right. So
I know what happened, and I've watched all the highlights, but I just haven't watched the full rounds.
Okay, so I was fortunate enough to, because the ladies' rounds finished like early in the morning. They finished by the time I'd woken up. Quite often, what I would do for each of those days is watch the live coverage in the morning, which is of the men's, and then watch the ladies' coverage, hiding myself from the results in the evening when it came out on GK Pro. And I'm really, really glad I did, because it was such a battle between Paige Pierce and Kristen Tatar. And if you haven't seen it already, you really want to watch the final round. The final round is incredible. It's just a seesaw roller coaster all the way. And obviously, it's heartbreak for Kristen, especially. Given the circumstances of what happened as well, which I won't go into. You'll have to read up about it. But please, do you want to go into it?
I was kind of tempted because, to be fair, and it's one of those that, yeah, like Nicola being a mother herself, I thought it was very interesting, and following pretty much all of the pros and a lot of like social influence, like disc golf influencers in the States, I've heard and seen a lot of opinions about it. And so, it's super fascinating. And to know that, like it kind of came down to that last hole, which was arguably like 15 holes after the incident happened. Like I was just like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think what happened. So briefly, if you haven't seen it, this happened a week ago, so I'm not spoiling anything. You should have watched it a week ago. What happened
can't spoil live sports.
You can't spoil live sports, indeed. What happened was, this is separate to the kind of result. It might have influenced it, but it was separate to the result. Kristen Tatar had her daughter, who is 9 years old, as her caddy for the weekend. And on the final round, she got to hole 4, and it was around hole 4 that the Lane King, who is the 5-time world champion and vice president of the PDGA board of directors, I think, who was in a commentary role at the time, calling the plays live for the Disc Golf Network, texted the PDGA tournament director, or the vice tournament director, and Paige Pierce's caddy, to say that she was concerned that Kristen might get disqualified for having a caddy who was underage. Now, the PDGA rules state that caddies can't be younger than 30; they have to be 13 in order to play. So yeah, interesting. And I mean, the immediate thing that any parent thinks is, what would I do in her position, right? What would I do if I got that kind of message? It was certainly a conversation that we had in our household as to what we do. And I mean, Kristen was fortunate. There was someone there who was able to supervise, in inverted commas, her daughter, and her daughter was given a quiet quiet sign so that you get to stand at the front. If you get one of those signs that says quiet, please, you get to stand at the front of the crowd. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, bizarre set of circumstances to the first major of the year.
Well, like I have to go the opposite. So like reading Kristen Tatar's post that she made after the event, reading Elaine King's and various comments that have been made, that like, yes, she was thankful, but that was also a volunteer. Like that was not a friend. So like it wasn't Kristen or her husband who was also playing in the event at the time. So basically her daughter, who's in a strange country in a language that she doesn't know, knowing very few people, got pulled away from her mother on between hole 3 and hole 4 because a spectator, like, you know, kind of tattled on, you know, like Kristen saying that the daughter's too young, and the idea that, so to have the daughter kind of pulled away from her, I can only imagine what Kristen was going through. And like, Kristen also, like in her post that she made on Instagram, was talking about how like strong her daughter was for being able to like deal and cope with that. But it just seems really interesting that it's kind of it happened. It's the spectator thing that kind of gets to me. You know, like Kristen talked about in her post that she's a professional. She should know the rules. She should have known a little bit more in and around her daughter being under 13. But the idea that like in professional golf, if you're, you know, like Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy, like it doesn't matter. You could have a 5-year-old be your caddy and carry your clubs, supposing they could also are strong enough to carry the clubs, which arguably Kristen's daughter is. But this idea, it came up before, I think, at like one of the older Las Vegas challenges of somebody watching the instant replay, you know, like said, oh, you know, like that's a foot fault, or they played the rule wrong. And there's this bit of like, what gives them like the power, like not being on the card? And a lot of people I know are starting to have this conversation of there need to be more officials on the ground at disc golf events, and that we can't self-police as we were, though you and I have had this conversation before about self-policing and how disc sports such as ultimate frisbee does really well with self-policing. I would argue disc golf does the same thing. At what point do we have to kind of like draw the line and be like, look, you can say whatever you want. You're not on the card. They're the ones who need to enforce the rules. Like, why can't this quiet word be held afterwards? You know what I mean? And not in the final round of a major between holes 3 and 4 on the lead card. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so the way in which it was handled by Elaine King was terrible in my view. And I can't imagine if I went to Estonia and was playing in a tournament and Devon was my caddy and was coming around when she was 9 years old, and someone said, oh yeah, nah, she's got to stand behind that line that's all the way back there now because she can't stand there. I'd just be like, nah, you're all right, don't worry about it then, I'll see you later. I mean, it's just the mind boggles. It really does boggle at what, like, how that ended up being the thing. I mean, I get it. I get the fact that having an age thing for a caddy is probably right, because you don't want, and it's more aimed, I think, that rule at more a kind of local tournaments, C, B, or maybe A tier, to stop people from bringing like their 2, 3, and 6-year-old around the course with them, which can hold up play and disrupt the other players and doesn't create the best kind of experience, right? So that's the reason the rule is there. It doesn't really. In this case, I think that I heard one opinion say that perhaps they could have had an exemption policy, and so had a situation where you could have applied for an exemption, and that would have made it okay. And in that case, it probably would have been given, and it would have been fine. So yeah, I get the point of having the rule, and I think I understand the reason for putting it in, and I don't think this tournament and that situation is the reason why that rule is in.
Well, I honestly would like to defend Elaine King as well. And Elaine King, when she posted talking about the event, it was not her intent to like get Kristen Tatar in trouble. Like that wasn't the point. And she wasn't trying to like pull the daughter away. What she was afraid of was, say Kristen Tatar went on to win, and to have that like title taken away from her because she was disqualified because her daughter was on the course as a caddy. That's what she was worried about. So she was worried about like this kind of like after the fact kind of thing. So that's why she tried to mention it before it got to that point. And, you know, I haven't seen the message. Right? What?
Who's making that call?
Right. You know, like,
I mean,
I wasn't there. I didn't read the message. I don't know who directly she contacted. As far as I know, from like, it was more discreet than necessarily a, hey, look, you need to tell off so-and-so for this. Is like, from what I have seen of it, I do want to go back and kind of see the round and hear what's talked about and that kind of stuff. But, you know, like this is kind of all of those, even Nicola talked about it tonight, that idea that there's a lot of alcohol around it at disc golf events, you know, like as disc golf grows and grows out of this like grassroots, you know, like very community based, like starting point, as we start to get more professional and we start to get more women and more children and more juniors into the sport. Some of these rules are good. Some of these rules are not so good. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see if there's going to be like a carry on or ripple from this, like going forward. And if so, like what that's going to be.
I'd certainly like to have a discussion, and it's we can perhaps fit it in. We've got a pretty busy schedule between now and the next couple of months, actually. But I think we need to have a chat about rules and the application of rules within disc golf. Do you get it? Do we maintain a kind of card consensus self-officiating way in the same way that in a similar way to how Ultimate does it? And by the way, my opinions on referees in Ultimate are perhaps different to the vast majority of certainly Ultimate players. And so I think it's worth having a conversation about that, and maybe we'll see if we can get some Ultimate players in on the discussion as well to add a different perspective, perhaps. That'd be good. So it's certainly caused controversy. Actually, on the coverage, you don't really notice it. So if you're going to go watch GK Pro, then none of this really kind of happens. In fact, I was quite surprised to read about it afterwards, having not seen it at all on coverage, because that was the first bit of the final round that I'd experienced was the GK Pro replay, and I didn't see any of it. So yeah, worth having a look at. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It's certainly one I don't think we've seen the end of it, although it could rumble on. Next up is we've got a new event that's landed, Brady. I don't know if you've seen this. So Generation Disc Golf have got together with the Paul Macbeth Foundation, which is a new foundation, well, relatively new. It's about a year old now, I suppose, a year and a bit old, is it? That has been set up to push disc golf to areas of the world that don't have disc golf. They set up plenty of courses in countries where it's the first course in that country, and they've paired together with Generation Disc Golf, and they've got an event running. Now the event runs as follows, right? So on a date, and at the moment the date is penciled to be the 17th of September. There are going to be events held all over New Zealand, all on the same day. All competing against each other in a kind of shoot better than your rating format, right? And so the person who shoots better than their rating on the day will take away the win. There's going to be a few prizes. There's some raffles going on, and also there's going to be likely individual local prizes for the local tournament that's run as well. So there's going to be one run in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Queenstown, Invercargill, Nelson, Ohakune, and Timaru currently. All right, so that would that there's more to come possibly. If you want to know a little bit more, then hit up Generation Disc Golf or Morgan Hartveld and he'll tell you more. As he says, the date is a provisional at the moment. It's 17th of September. Brady, could be a good bit of fun.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. I love that Australia Disc Golf does that. It has run a similar event to that, like play better than your rating kind of format, you know, like, and I think that's really cool. You know, like we talked about Centurions around the place. So it's really good to kind of see that multi-city thing take off. And I love it for a great cause, you know, like that. Yeah. You know, like I'm a big fan of Paul Macbeth, of course, always have been, especially now that he's with Discraft. And so the idea that, yeah, you know, like that, this is all going to a great cause, and that, you know, like we're getting disc golf into areas around the world that, you know, like are underutilized and that could use something like disc golf to engage the local community.
Totally. I'll be running the one in Wellington. So if you've got any thoughts or ideas, or you want to get involved in the one in Wellington, then give us a shout. I'm thinking about running it at Petone, actually, make it a bit different. I don't think we've done a PDGA event at Petone, so we'll see how that plays. And yeah, we could try and get the best of the city and Upper Hutt going against each other and themselves. Out on the foreshore, so we'll see how that goes.
Tags up?
Sorry? Oh, tags will be up. Oh, absolutely. Tags absolutely will be up. Okay, next up is Taupo this weekend. So we've got we're going to do our picks for Taupo in a minute when we've just had a look at we'll just bring up the upcoming events and our upcoming events and our power rankings, which have been updated since Brook Park Brave. Let us know your picks for Taupo in the comments below. Lots of people playing this weekend, so plenty of action going on. Taupo this weekend, and the Montana Flat, the finale of the Generation Disc Golf Tour, is taking place this weekend. So 2 tournaments to keep an eye on if you're not playing in either of them. Let me get my words right. King Country Classic is next weekend in Taumarunui. Brady, you're going up for that, so that should be good fun. Week after that is the Lords and Ladies of Lismore down in Wanaka. Nicola spoke about that would hopefully be her next tournament. Sub-Zero in June. Timaru, end of June. The Women's Global Event, early August. The Paul Macbeth Foundation fundraiser, 17th of September. That's a penciled in date currently. And the Bros for Change Charity Classic booked in for the 11th of November. And so only some small changes to the power rankings. So in the ladies division, Eilish Kumak moves up 1 spot at the expense of Amy Whitmore. And Simon Feasy overtakes Hemi back into 3rd place. Andy Davey drops 4 spots down to 13th. Blair Joins drops 2 spots to 17th. And Trevor Woolman climbs 3 spots for a place in the top 20. Shout out to Josh Love Padata, who moves up 44 places to 29th, following his tied 4th place finish, and also to Dane Sales, who climbs 31 places to 73rd, following his strong performance too. So Brady, take us through your picks for Taupo. Who do you have?
Ooh, we starting with men or we starting with women?
Start where you like.
I guess let's start with some men. Advanced division is huge. Like, it's crazy to think that, you know, like Brook Park was nice and easy, you know, now that we have 160 people to choose from.
That's right.
It's like, excuse me, what? This depth of field is ridiculous. Of course, for me, I can't really go past Simon Feasy for the win. You know, like chalking up that 51, especially now that the young gun who's been pushing him, Levi, seems to be sitting on the sidelines for this one. I'll put Mikey you there in 2nd. I'm going to put Ashton Clark in 3rd. Ooh, I think he's going to play well. I'll put Kana in that 4th spot again. And I will put Vinny Wilson is going to round out my top 5 for the men. It'll be nice to see him competing on the big stage again. How about you, Matt? Who are your top 5?
Yeah, look, I've actually gone for very similar to you. Actually, I thought there'd be a couple in here who would be a bit different. But no, I've got Simon Feasey for the win, Mike Yu in second, Conor McKinstry in third, Vincent Wilson in fourth, and Andy Davey rounding out the fifth spot. I mean, there's a lot of long holes on this course, and Andy's got a bomb. So we shall see how he gets on. Ladies,
I think the battle is going to be between Victoria Speller and Michelle Simpson. I think they're going to go 1-2 together. Who's ever having the good week. I might go with Victoria because I'll pick Victoria. I'll take her number 1, Michelle number 2. And then I'm going to pick Auckland local Charlotte Dunkley to come into third. I think she's just going to play steady on the weekend. So those will be my top 3 for the ladies. How about yourself?
I've got the same top 3, but a different order, completely different order. I've got Michelle taken out, Charlotte finishing in second, and Victoria in third. So yeah. So look, best of luck to everybody who's playing at Taupo this weekend. There's 160 of you, so there's plenty of disc golf to be played. Enjoy it. It looks like it's going to be a lovely tournament. And we will be back next week to give everybody the lowdown on what happened. Also, the Montana Flat this weekend as well, the finale of the Generation Disc Golf Tour. We shall be following that one on the 24th. So the 24th is Sunday.
Ooh, does that mean sponsorship will be announced? That's
possibly, yeah. So the winner of the advanced division, I understand, gets an
will be an RPM Parliament member or whatever.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to that, because that could be quite an interesting battle as well. Lovely stuff. Well, look, wherever you're playing disc golf this week, take it easy, play well, get some birdies. We'll see you next time. Cheers.